Hi, and welcome to Missouri Outdoors. I'm Kipp Woods, and today we're in central Missouri at an area where a small creek has carved a natural bridge and a scenic canyon. We're at Clifty Creek Natural Area located west of Rolla, and it's our stop as we continue our tour of conservation lands all across the state. During the next half hour, we'll not only take you on a tour of this area, but we'll also travel throughout Missouri and bring you these stories.
We'll try to grab your attention and spark your interest in a revealing look at what it's like to put a TV show like this together. Then, the Great Flood of '93. It scarred lives and the countryside. See what researchers are discovering in the wake of this raging river. But first, the change of season means a change in colors, especially in the fall when Missouri's landscape explodes in vivid shades of orange, red, and yellow. It's next on Missouri Outdoors.
This is a story about two groups.
This is a sugar maple, and it's the primary reason why some of the prettiest drives in the autumn are along the rivers in the state, especially the Missouri River.
One scientific.
And that area, that joint then becomes a
I think I see red. You see red?
The other enthusiastic. It's a story about the complexities of nature.
If you go inward, inside, and pull out a leaf from inside the crown, you can see that there's a much lower development intensity as you move inward. And this is because light is required for the synthesis of the pigments.
And the simple joy of discovery.
But if you want to visit my tree, come in the fall.
It's a story about the year's most spectacular natural event, fall colors.
The loss of chlorophyll is something that happens every fall, and that gives you yellow colors because the yellow pigments are there to begin with during the season. The red and orange and scarlet colors come from the fact that the trees are actually, some species are synthesizing new pigments in the autumn. And the requirements are really environmental in that case. What you find is that if you have cool but not freezing weather and bright sunny days, you get maximal development of the red and orange and scarlet colors. And if the weather is cloudy, when you would have the peak of the color, which is mid-October around here, or you have a real hard freeze before that, you'll tend to find the colors are muted because of that. So predicting color is like predicting the weather because it depends on it.
Steve Pallardy is a forestry professor at the University of Missouri. In the autumn, he spends a lot of time giving the complex answer to a simple question. Why do leaves change color? Just south of Pallardy's class at the Runge Conservation Nature Center in Jefferson City, a more basic examination of the fall phenomenon is taking place.
What do you guys see?
Yellow.
Oh, I heard somebody say yellow back there. Okay, we're going to go on Tyrene Oak Trail. We're going to go around this way. I think kids take a special notice of fall because all the many different colors, they can relate colors to things and they can yell out those colors, and I think it's a very beautiful thing for them to see. They like those colors. I think that's the main thing that attracts them to fall. We're going to build our tree, and it's going to tell you why the leaves change colors. 1, because the days are shorter. 2, because the temperature is cooler. 3, because the chlorophyll is leaving.
Meanwhile, back in the sugar maple tree,
So in exposed places like this, and along these bluffs where you can see the light penetrates quite well, is where you find the most intense color development. One way that you see the effect of light on the development of the red pigments quite strikingly is to look at the shading of one leaf by another. And in this case, you see that you've got one leaf on top that's about the same color as that one underneath, at least the part that's showing. But if we move the leaf aside, you can see the part was shaded by the upper leaf is now very washed out and almost yellow. So there's virtually no red pigment formation because there wasn't light intensity required to form the pigment.
We're going to read a story called Red Leaf, Yellow Leaf. I've been saving this little leaf from my sugar maple tree so I can show it to you. I love my tree.
They will actually get to learn their seasons when they're young, like in Claudine's group. They actually get to learn, fall, winter, spring, summer. They're learning their seasons, but then they get to learn, well, what is special about fall, and what are some things that they can see, even at their young age, that tells them this is the fall season.
For most people, I think autumn is associated with harvest and completion. And what we're talking about basically is people going to rest, and the plants are doing really the same thing. They're going into their dormant period in preparation for a harsh time of winter. One of the nice things about living in this state is the fact that we're provided with really a diversity of appearances of our landscape. And the autumn color has got to be one of the most attractive things about the state.
Welcome back. This is one of the main attractions at Clifty Creek Natural Area. This scenic natural bridge has a span of about 40 feet and was created by a tributary of Clifty Creek.
It's located west of Raleigh in central Missouri, about 5 miles northeast of Dixon. This 230-acre area is owned by the Ladd Foundation and managed by the Missouri Department of Conservation. The scenic beauty of Clifty Creek Natural Area truly makes it one of Missouri's natural gems. Coming up, its forest destroyed homes and lives. It also created new ones. See how blue holes could reveal some important clues for reclaiming the land along this raging river. Next on Missouri Outdoors.
It is a raging animal, flowing backwards and over, forcing everyone out of its way.
They come out of nowhere just to help.
That's going to be probably at the top of the bags, and I don't know if we've got enough strength underneath the hole.
This is a gone crop year, and we just hope the weather patterns get back to normal.
The Consolidated North County Levee District advised that it will not be able to hold the levee.
It would be a shame to lose approximately 40,000 acres.
Homes folks worked hard to achieve and keep up. And now it's all underwater.
The Great Flood of 1993 ravaged the Missouri River Valley, destroying homes, devastating croplands, and shattering lives. The river reclaimed its natural floodplain, and despite the staggering damage, the passage of time may prove that the flood left more than high water marks. The floodwaters receded to reveal hundreds of shimmering blue holes dotting the river basin.
Generally, they're associated with breaks in the levee. When water started going over the levee or through the levee, it starts a scouring action, and once it starts digging down, then it just starts eating down and lifts it up and creates these big holes. And it's just amazing the power that water has. A lot of these blue holes are in fact deeper than the river, so it's just pretty amazing.
The vast number of blue holes gives researchers an unparalleled view of the creation of new habitats, including wetlands.
We're actually comparing these blue holes to some natural wetlands that occur along the Missouri River and other areas. We don't know in all cases what created those, whether those areas started out as blue holes as a result of a flood or whether they were just natural basins that occurred there.
The Missouri Department of Conservation organized researchers from 5 federal agencies and 2 state universities to collaborate on the Missouri River Research Project. During the next 3 years, researchers will study every aspect of the blue holes, from the number and species of invertebrates.
We have moths and flies and midges just within this one sample,
to the water birds that feed on them. Each week, a team takes to the skies to inspect 70 sites along the river.
We can look at the bird use from a very large scale and compare all these different sites along the river, looking at how important these scours are, or these newly created wetlands are to the waterbird community. And not only are we looking at the bird community associated with this, but we're also looking at the impacts of the basin. How are these changing vegetatively? How are the levees being put in? Where are they being put in? We're able to sort of come back a little bit with aerial surveys and look at a larger, more of a landscape view as opposed to just a site-specific look.
Migratory shorebirds have discovered the blue holes as the perfect rest stop on their journey from the North to South America.
During these migrations, these wetlands like this are extremely important for them to gain energy reserves to continue flying. They're stopping off, basically refueling like we do in a car, and filling up with a lot of fat so they can continue to fly.
Researchers believe that fish are also benefiting from the calm waters.
There are a lot of species of fish, riverine fish, that spawn in these off-channel floodplain habitats. The second thing is that they provide food because there's a very high density of young fish here. And we don't know about the third one, whether they may provide refuge during the winter months or whether they're providing refuge from the high velocity that occurs in the main channel.
The blue holes are getting a lot of fishing pressure, so that there's a lot of people have discovered them and are going out and fishing, and they're catching, I think, good numbers of catfish. I think they're probably finding that there are crappie in these things that don't normally occur here, and it should just be a better fishing situation for those that use the river.
Blue cat 901.
See a big fella?
Let's go over there.
Okay.
What I hope will happen is that these areas will remain low enough that we can get water into them every spring, every high water period. If that happens, then the fish populations of the river will improve. It will be a very good situation for them. If these areas fill up and become unusable, we're not going to be much better off than we were before the flood.
Much of the land in the floodplain will never be the same. Graduate students are studying what types of vegetation are replacing the crops on the once fertile farmland. Some landowners are placing their acreage into the Emergency Wetland Reserve Program. This ensures that severely damaged land will be allowed to return to its natural state.
By providing these additional habitats, we may be able to increase some of these populations of, let's say, sport fish, and also provide other opportunities such as hunting and fishing on these areas.
For some, the legacy of the raging floodwaters will be the heartache and disaster. But in time, we may also find a legacy of new wildlife along Missouri's great river.
Welcome back to Clifty Creek Natural Area in central Missouri. The area's beauty extends beyond the natural bridge. Much of it is wooded, hilly, and steep.
Clifty Creek itself is an Ozark headwater stream. It flows through a canyon with scenic high bluffs. A foot trail leads visitors from the ridgetop down to the creek and the natural bridge. So if you plan to visit, be prepared to do a little hiking. Just ahead, it's TV the way nature intended. It's the outdoor show that covers all of Missouri and brings it right into your home. We'll take you behind the scenes in the making of Missouri Outdoors.
Missouri's Outdoors year-round by borrowing.
You mind if we talk to you on camera a little bit? We're doing a TV show for the Missouri Outdoors for the Conservation Department's TV show.
We put a lot of effort into the show, and I think that shows on the screen.
The hardest part about the job is the weather and dealing with the elements. It's the beauty of Missouri's Outdoors. Join us, won't you?
And I feel like in a lot of ways our show is Missouri's version of National Geographic.
Our food supply.
It's a fun show. We explore a lot of really neat things. We get great video of the state, of the animals, of the people, and it's a terrific half hour.
We'll need to do a dissolve into 20936, and then after that I think we can do cuts.
Okay. Probably the one thing that a lot of people would not realize is how much work actually goes into shooting a show like this.
Well, that's it for another. Ha! Just bit my tongue.
This week on Missouri Outdoors, we'll visit the James A. Reid Memorial Wildlife Area near Kansas City, and we'll bring you these stories. See, it's not that hard, Kipp.
I've seen a lot of places in the state that I never knew were here before I joined the show, and it's incredible the quality and diversity of our state. There are some gorgeous places here I never would have seen otherwise. What I like best about my job is traveling around the state, meeting a lot of different people.
I will be in the inner city one day talking with the teacher about a garden, and the next day I'll be chasing bats in a cave. So I really love that about the show, that it's very, very different. I want to position you right kind of behind her so that as it flies to her, it flies at you. One of the shoots we did this year was about the World Bird Sanctuary. We took our camera and crew and went to an elementary school to show the education portion of what the World Bird Sanctuary does. I've got like 6 kids that I'm going to ask 2 questions to, just, about what they learned. Yeah, shotgun. No, I'm not going to allow them. Michelle, you're already turning red. Now don't get embarrassed. Once again, the hardest part is looking at me. Take that hair and go, whoo. There we go. Getting to meet people has actually been a side benefit that I didn't expect when I started this, working on this show. Now all we are is waiting on the camera guy.
That would be me.
That would be him.
I'm sure we'll be over on this side, Mr. Baker.
I thought so. I thought you were going to move me over there.
Oh, one more thing. While we're gone, catch some fish.
The thing I found interesting about the paddlefish story was the people involved. They call themselves snaggers.
Everybody scoot in real tight together. Hey, Tom, what I'm looking for is kind of like a portrait, kind of low angle, like snaggers.
Out there. That's what fascinated me about the story. It wasn't so much it was the fish, but the people that were involved in it.
All right.
The crews that we've had on Missouri Outdoors are exceptional because we put them through really difficult situations. I mean, we are up early in the morning, oftentimes hiking great distances with the gear and stuff like that.
With wildlife especially, you don't get too many chances, so you have to be careful to be ready to shoot it when it happens and to get it right. And that means doing things right the first time.
Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to try to catch these geese. They're flightless.
Everybody go. One of the stories I'm producing this year is on the Explorer's Post, and part of that story was shot during a goose roundup near Columbia, Missouri. How long does it usually take to do all this?
It depends on if the geese cooperate or not.
Okay, we'll see. One of the things I want to get today is
Is lunch?
Tom, you'll be over.
Do you want to go ahead and shoot the interviews here? I mean, do we have enough that if we were done, if we shot the interviews here, are we done? Or would you like to see? Why am I asking you? I'm the producer.
If there's any part that I don't like, it's what's the word I'm looking for? The Mother Nature's revenge or whatever. You know, the poison ivy, the chiggers, the ticks.
I enjoy the editing process. It's probably the most rewarding part of the job because you actually finally see all of your preparations come together.
Where do I want to go, Barb? On the VO?
290122.
If you have any interest in outdoors at all, this show's going to have something for you.
Here's number 3 anytime.
And we'll see how snaggers take to the waters in search of paddlefish.
From start to finish, the production of the TV show is a total team effort.
I'm the editor. I'm the editor. I'm the editor. I'm the editor.
When he isn't hunting with his family, Dr. Cooper goes out with his old friend and neighbor, Francis Goen.
Kipp, I'm going to crop this one a little more to the right. It's kind of nice to work with Missouri Outdoors because this monitor back here is kind of my window, so it sort of brings the outdoors into my room.
I don't think I can work on the show anymore. I'm going to have to take another job in another city.
Join us again next week then for the next Missouri Outdoors. Does anybody want to shoot it? Obviously he doesn't. Hey, we go through this all the time. We get him some coffee, he'll be fine.
Well, that's it for another week. As we leave you today, we'll take one last look at the sights and
Cut.
The close to the show goes something like, that's all for this week, but be sure, no, it doesn't do that.
Well, that's it for another week. So remember, what is it?
And that's it for next week, or for this week.
Well, that's it for this week.
Well, that's it. What is it?
I haven't got a clue.
I really thought I could do it. Thanks for watching, and remember, and don't forget. Thanks for watching, and don't forget.
That's not correct, but it's close.
Okay, I'm gonna give it one more shot here.
Thanks for watching. See you later. That's where I'll be. Bye.
That's all this week.
Blah, 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 blah.
I know that part.
Pass.
Okay. Now you want to see how it's really done?
This is how it's done on television.
Well, that's it for this week.
Thanks for watching.
And remember, we'll do it again next week.
And if you get a chance,
Why not head out and enjoy Missouri's outdoors?
That's where I'll be.
See you next time. Did that look natural?
If you have questions or comments about today's program, drop us a line at Missouri Outdoors, Post Office Box 180, Jefferson City, Missouri 65102.